Buongiorno, Claudio. How are you? Yeah, a little bit sluggish. I had the jab the other day, and it's kind of just made me a little bit sluggish, a little bit achy, but nothing too serious. Good morning, Gerald. It's cold. Temperature's below zero. Well, okay, it's a little bit warmer actually today. I mean, it's not warm. It's just not as cold as it has been. It was really cold last week, some of the days, but it's definitely a little bit warmer than it was. $54 degrees at the moment. Whatever that means. $12 centigrade, 54 Fahrenheit. Anyway, so this morning's shape that we're doing is a double Anse, which I've done in the past, but not that often. Yeah, it's a nice looking shape. It's not a shape that I personally smoke. I'm not a big fan of forward canted pipes. You know, the bowl is pushed forward, slanting forward on a forward cant. I just aesthetically beautiful. It's a beautiful, you know, really nice looking pipe. But I just find them to be less practical. When you're lighting, you can't see what you're lighting. So on this particular pipe, it's form over practicality, really. Morning, Steve and Kathy. This morning I'm going to mix some Erenmore with some Orlick golden sliced. Your favourite shape is Lovat. Yeah, that I understand. Lovat is a great shape. I did one recently, the Christmas pipe I did was a Lovat. Turned out beautiful. I need to make some non-filtered ones as well, because it's a really popular shape. Yeah, it was. It turned out really well. Thank you, Claudio. It really did turn out well, that one. That was one of the pipes that I found hard to sell. You know, I excuse me, I'm yawning before I've even started. I'm tempted to keep all of my pipes virtually, but some more than others, and that was one of the ones which really, I was very tempted. It was very, the shape worked out absolutely perfect, and it was light. Good morning, Anwar. What's with all the dads? This morning I'm about to smoke Orlick golden sliced mixed with some Erenmore flake. Thank you, Claudia. That's very kind of you. This pipe here I started making last week or so, but it was still wet, so I had to take it inside and let it air out. And I think it's ready to go now. It dropped from 54 grams to 49 grams, so it's lost 6 grams in humidity. So we'll see how that goes. I think when I shape today's pipe, I'll probably shape that one as well, finish off. Morning, Peter. That's gross. It's overcast, but it's dry. It's 54 degrees here. Ciao Sandro, how you doing? Morning Sharon. Doing okay. A little bit lethargic after my booster jab, but otherwise alright. A little bit achy. So we had the booster jabs midday on Monday, and yesterday we had a fast day, a religious fast day. So it was a short fast because the nightfall was really early, but still, it kind of knocks the wind out of you a little bit. And then the sort of from the jab, just achy, just legs and arms achy. That's the third jab, yeah, the booster. I went along with my wife on Monday. We both had it. Thankfully, we didn't get fever. I felt a little bit fluey. My head was a little bit zingy. You know, when you get that, like it feels electrified. You know what I'm talking about? A bit fluey, sort of tingly sensation in your head, behind your eyes and nose. But I didn't have fever. I don't think I had fever. I didn't bother taking it, to be honest. But it's more lethargy and aching. My legs and my arms are aching. Which is what I got when I actually got COVID itself, the first time round, back in March 2020. It's crazy to think that's nearly 2 years ago. So I was sort of out of sorts for about 3 weeks. And that was the main thing which I was left with, is the sort of lack of strength in my legs. Probably a little bit of atrophy. So I'm kind of getting a similar kind of reaction from the jab. I had it done on my left arm, yeah, so there's a little bit of a sensitivity there, but no bruising or anything like that. It just hurts to lift up the arm, and it's just a sensitivity. Yeah, none of it's terrible. I mean, thankfully, I'm fine. I can get on with work. I'm just sort of chatting. Just having a few draws on my pipe before I get to work. It's the first pipe of the day. So I've got a commissioned devil shape. Sore arm, yeah. Both my wife and I have both got that. But as I say, lethargy is probably the main issue at the moment. Just feeling tired and lethargic. I'm just going to cut the block. It's got some very nice cross grain, you can see that there. That would have made a very nice pipe turned over on the other side. But hopefully it'll have equally nice bird's eye on the sides. You can see that there. And this one here, which I'm in the middle of, you can see the grain there as well. It's looking pretty awesome. Hi, Jeff. Morning. Thank you, Claudia. Well, in the mornings, I like to sort of have my first pipe and work at a slow pace, just to kind of lead into. Once I start getting onto the lathe and so on, I put the pipe down. But I do like to just sort of usher in the morning with a pipe, a coffee, a little chat, and just fiddling around sort of the preparations for making the pipe. And then I'll put the pipe down and get on with things. It seems to become a bit of a ritual. This is the Peterson Christmas 2021 pipe, and this is the Lestrade shape, which I like. It does present great challenges with a 9mm version. This is a 9mm system version, and I did quite a bit of work in there to make that smoke well. And because you imagine having a mortise there for a 9mm filter, but the bowl is over here, so you've got to literally take a right hand turn, like a 45-degree sharp turn into the bowl. And what happens is that the draft hole is actually halfway up the filter. It doesn't come underneath the filter. So I've had to open things up a little bit and make a little channel going from the base of from the draft hole, so that smoke goes up and down and under the filter rather than through the wall of it. Anyway, it didn't smoke before, and now it smokes. So I could have been fussy and sent it back without a problem, but I figured that I like the shape. They don't make this shape that much, the Lestrade. And they seem to sell as soon as they come out on any of their lines, but the Lestrade shape, because it's full bent, it does seem to sell quite quickly. So as soon as they came out, I just jumped on it. And when I first got it, I could hardly draw anything through it. So I was kind of deciding send it back or just fix it myself, and I fixed it myself, and it smokes really well. It's a good smoking pipe. I keep it out here, and it's become almost a daily smoke. You know, my first smoke of the day. Bit of Orlick, maybe a bit of vanilla. Yeah, it has got a nice band. Unfortunately, when I was doing the work on it, in order to fix it, part of what I did was to re-drill the stem. So I straightened out the stem back to its original form, and in the process, the P is not a proper P. It's just a white paint, and that kind of melted, and it looks a bit shabby, which is a big shame. I could sort that out, I suppose, but it's a little bit indicative of the quality of their work, and these days, you know, they're trying to save money. Okay, you've got a nice Peterson stamp, a Sherlock Holmes stamp there. I think it's a shame that it doesn't have a proper P. It sits on my face. Thank you. It's a nice shape. It's a proper, real traditional, full bent kind of chin hanger. The rustication is interesting as well. It's really a carving, really thick, heavy rustication. I don't know if this is done by machine or by hand these days. I suppose if I saw one next to each other, you'd be able to tell. But I know what you mean, Sandra. I know. I was just yanking your chain. I mean, once the internals is sorted, it smokes fantastic. And being full bent makes it very comfortable. And it means that you can see the full pipe without me having to show my full face. I've got a new coffee cup by Yeti. It's not completely waterproof, but it's kind of splash proof. You can shake it around a fair amount. It's got a magnetic sliding cap there. I'm not sure what the magnetic does to it, but it works. The only thing about it is that it's too wide to put in your car. You know, the cup holders in the car. But it is, because it's wide as well, it's quite sturdy to just set down. You can just put it down anywhere in the car almost and it'll be okay. And it sort of general shakes is okay. I mean, in the middle of my car, in my Mazda, there's a center console which I put cups in, which this won't fit, but it sits on top of it and it doesn't move around. I like this color. They have the whole range of colors, but I just like this, especially for out here, because I want to be able to find it easily. And it sticks out. The color sticks out. And there's always so many things lying around here that sometimes I can't find my cup. So I picked this color and it really works. I can find it. Also, compared to my other ones, the big silver one that I usually have, this one has a good substantial handle on it as well, which the other one doesn't. So you kind of like that. It's a little bit easier if you have a handle. A little bit less capacity, and probably doesn't hold the heat as well. It holds it well enough. I mean, it'll sit here for a couple of hours quite happily. But the other one can hold heat, I think, for quite a bit longer. I think nowadays, if a person is a pipe smoker, although you have the traditional sort of views of people being deep thinkers and all that kind of thing, but in actual fact, for somebody to be a pipe smoker, that means, number one, that they've done a bit of research about the health aspects of it, the positive sides of it, and the lower risk level of it. It means that they're taking time out in their day to sort their pipe out, to look after their pipe, prepare their tobacco. It's one of the vices in life which it demonstrates a certain degree of thought and consideration, especially nowadays, because it's considered to be old-fashioned. If somebody takes it up, to me it demonstrates even more, especially with younger people. If they take it up, it demonstrates to me a real a wise person. It's a wise decision. I'm not saying that I encourage people to take up the pipe. I wouldn't go that far. But somebody who does take it up, to me, it indicates some wisdom. Put it this way, if they were to pick up any kind of medium for smoking and they choose, instead of a cigarette or a vape, even a vape I would include in that, if they pick up a pipe, as opposed, if they're going to pick up something to smoke, compared to not smoking, no, I would say it's probably not a wise decision on balance. But if they're going to smoke something, whether it be weed, or even a cigar, or a cigarette, or vape, whatever it is, and they choose a pipe, to me that indicates some maturity and some wisdom. Thank you, Claudio. It is. It's a nice pipe, and I'm happy that I stuck with it. And it's robust as well, which is perfect for the workshop. Erinmore flake and Orlick golden sliced. I'm not sure it's the greatest mix that I've ever done, because Erinmore is great on its own. Sandro. And I wish you well to do that. Are you, how old are you, Sandro, if I may ask? Are you 45 yet? 40 maybe? $35? Still not low enough, no? 30? Such a handsome man. Oh, we're almost twins. 55. I'm 3 years behind you. 52. You've been smoking a pipe for 35 years. Wow. Claudio, I'm using Google Translate to translate your sentences. University, cool. Alright, we're going to head over to the lathe in a sec. I'm just at a point where it's stoking along really nicely, so I don't want to lose that. You know, sometimes when you've started your pipe, it takes a few minutes to really get going. And once it gets going, it's really at a sweet spot. So once that happens, I don't like to lose that. I like to make the most of it. You know, the flavors of the tobacco really start to come forward. The smoke is coming out nicely. And it's just smoking effortlessly. I suppose I could take it to the lathe as well. I just don't like using the pipe when I'm sanding. I use a mask, obviously. It's certainly very Moorish, isn't it? I have that sometimes with a cigar as well. I have to say recently, not so much with a cigar. I'm a bit short of good cigars. And I've got a few sort of small boxes of cigars which I'm keeping, which I haven't opened, like limited editions. I don't really want to smoke those, so and then if you buy new cigars, they tend to be fresh, so they're also not as good. I'm at that point now where I've pretty much smoked everything that's ready to smoke, or that I want to smoke. Thank you, Sandra. You too. Have you been composing anything whilst you're stuck at home? Morning, Mike. I'm about to get stuck into this devil Anse. Actually went through a few blocks, and I think this one's ideal for rustication, and this one too. The grain on these ones are sort of all over. They've got grain, but they're just all over the place. I mean, this one's got really nice grain on this side, but this side is completely the opposite type of grain. You see that sometimes it's almost like circular grain. This is the Peterson 2021. It's the Lestrade shape. I bought this a few weeks ago, and I've been smoking it almost every day here in the workshop. Had to do some work on it to make it smokable, but there were some issues because it's 9mm. I was just explaining it earlier on. The 9mm mortise sort of comes right down there, so it has to take almost a 45-degree turn to get into the bottom of the bowl, which meant that the filter went right past the draft hole. So I had to do some internal machinations, but it smokes really well now. I also re-drilled the stem. Yeah, I also like this shape. It's why I kind of persevered with it, because I think with a different pipe I would have just sent it back. And I find that the Lestrades tend to sell very quickly when they come out with a Lestrade. It'll pass the pipe cleaner through the stem, but not into the shank. No chance. Not into the bowl. No chance at all. Which is not the end of the world for me, because I smoke filtered pipes anyway, so the pipe cleaner is only going to go as far as the filter anyway. But it's a good indication of how well it's been drilled if a pipe cleaner will go through it. But I had to just re-drill things. I had to reshape things inside here in order to get a good draw, which I do have now. I also re-drilled the stem. I had to straighten out the stem, and in the process of it, the white P, which is a very cheap affair these days. It's not the silver sort of heat pressed in P anymore, or at least not on this level, this pipe. They still use the silver ones, the metal ones, but not on this pipe, and that's kind of come out. So barley spigot in a 124 shape. Barley spigots, I'm not sure what that is. I'm not familiar with that. Good morning, Idan, how are you? Your pipe, Mike, by the way, I need to give it a couple of days for the shellac to cure properly before I send it, but it's pretty much there now, so it'll probably go off in the next day or two. Oh, you're having a club meeting? Nice. I wish I could be there. Natural finish sandblast, right? Okay. What shape is it? Is it also this, a Lestrade? Oh, 124 shape. I really like the Rua that they've brought out, the Rua sandblast. They're just too expensive for me, but they look good, some of them. Some of them are not that good, some of them are fantastic. There's a guy on Instagram, his handle is NPod. I don't know who he is, but he's got an amazing collection of pipes. I mean, he must have a pipe collection worth, wouldn't surprise me if he's got a collection worth, you know, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. He's got a huge amount of L-tangs, and I think he's even got former pipes. He's got Castellos, and he got this Rua. I reckon he got the inside track on that because the sandblast on his Rua is just unbelievable. Hundreds of thousands, wow. Has he got any Anjuli pipes? Don't know if I've seen him with any Anjuli pipes. It's really interesting because the chances are that he's a very successful businessman. All right. If you can send me that article, Mike, I'd really be grateful if there's a link to it or something like that. Yeah, Steve. Unfortunately, Steve and Kathy, that's a bit of a thing with Peterson pipes. It's just the way it goes. They're really not. He's a heart surgeon, yeah, and he still smokes a pipe. Wow, that is cool. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, that's something that is worth sort of just talking about, the fact that he's a heart surgeon and yet smokes a pipe. So he's obviously done the research on it. There's no way he's just gone into it without doing any research. Yeah, the curve is very sharp on this pipe, hence the problems that I had with it. Yeah, I saw those L-tangs, aren't they? He's had them a short while now. Exactly, Sandra. I know you can't post pictures on here. It's such a shame. It really is. I mean, I can show you them on my thing. I can only show you a picture of it. There's the L-tang, heart shape. I want to find that Rua. Stunning. I mean, I personally wouldn't order pipes like that. I mean, I get why he has. Obviously, if he's a heart surgeon, that's a bit. Oh, there's Anjuli. They certainly look like it. These are Anjulis. I'm positive they're Anjulis. S-Bang Volcano, stunning. I still dream of getting an S-Bang. I'm a big fan of their pipes. They're not quite, in the tens of thousands, but they're really nice. That's his. I guess that's the Castello lineup. That's his Castello collection. Oh, really? Well, I suppose it's a relatively cheap hobby to have. Not cheap, but it's... Is this the one? Is this the Rua? I thought we had a better looking one than this. I think this is it. That's a Peterson Rua with a great sandblast ring grain. Just phenomenal. There's an article attached to that post. What, the one with the heart? With the two hearts in it, that one? Oh, this is not. This is by Jody. I assume Jody Davis. It's not. Those are not L-tangs. Jeez. Shock of my life. Bird just landed on my roof. I think I'm going to have to get myself an air rifle. No, just joking. I'm not that kind of guy. I don't like shooting stuff. Well, he's got a little bit of the old Cornell and Deal. Small batch. I can see he smokes cigars as well. There's some L-tangs. L-tang pokers. Interesting thing is that he buys one, he ends up buying loads. God knows when he gets to smoke them all. Every person, yeah, you're right, Mike. He's got an unbelievable collection, really unbelievable. Oh my, I didn't know he had Nana Everson. Nana Everson. That's a very Everson-esque pipe, that is. Stunning. I mean, it reminds me of Bernard Alotti, the president of the Pipe Club of London. He's got over 4,000 pipes. Can you believe that? And it's hard to imagine where you even store 4,000 pipes. And I asked him, do you get to smoke them all? He says, yeah, he smoked every single one. How? I don't know, but he does. When I asked him, for instance, if he's got how many Northern Briars pipes he's got, he says he doesn't know, but he's got literally a case full of just Northern Briars pipes. $4,000 is just unbelievable. It's just crazy. I mean, I don't think he's got many ultra high grade. He may have some, but not. You know, he hasn't got the type of NPod type of collection. I don't know if he's got things like L-tangs and Eversons and stuff like that. So he probably pays, you know, between maybe 50 and 200 pounds for his pipes, I would imagine. But he's got some Ashtons. He's got a fantastic collection of Ashtons. He was very close with Bill Taylor. So he's got a load of Ashtons. He's got, you know, Bill Taylor Ashtons. Also, he's got loads of them. Silver coloured ones. You know, he's got loads of Petersons. I mean, he's got pipes which have value individually, but not, you know, you're not in the thousands, I don't think. Yeah, I'm the same. I mean, with the exception of one or two pipes, which I've spoken about before, where I mean, I don't really have emotional attachments to my pipes, whereas I'm completely the opposite to some people who are completely attached. When I did the Pipe and Tamper interview last week or whenever it was, with Mike and Jay. Jay was saying the opposite. He said he has an attachment and a story to every pipe. I don't quite know what that means when he says he has a story. You know, I can understand if something memorable happens whilst you were smoking that pipe, so that means something to you, maybe, or if you got it as a gift, or if you bought it to commemorate something in particular. But every single pipe to have a story, and if you have a collection of a couple hundred pipes, I don't know, maybe. But as I say, with the exception of one or two pipes, I don't really have a huge emotional connection. But I do have a core rotation of pipes which I smoke regularly, and some which have never gone into any of my sale videos. Not because of value or anything. Some of those pipes are £30 or £40 that they cost me, but I'll give you an example. This pipe here, this is a Bentley by Former. Former went over to Switzerland and he ran the Bentley firm for a while, the designs and all of that. So this is one of his designs. A bit dusty. This one I smoked mostly McClellan's 40th anniversary in this pipe. Got lovely bird's eye there. So it's not to say that I would never sell it, but it's a pipe that I enjoy smoking, so I keep it, I use it, and I never even sort of consider putting it in any of my sales. I've got some pipes which I've had in the sale, didn't sell, and then I've grown to like that pipe again. But I would say in terms of a core group of pipes, I've probably got somewhere between there's probably around 20-25 pipes which are my core collection that I smoke regularly. But even amongst those, there's probably half a dozen pipes which I smoke sort of literally all the time. My own pipe, which I made, which is similar to this, that I smoke all at Golden Slideston, the Bent Billiard, which I've got upstairs. That's a regular pipe that I smoke very regularly. This pipe I smoke now almost every day. The thing is that I don't smoke a pipe as much as people might think, because I'm working, so I might set it down and relight it and so on. But I don't smoke a pipe all day, every day. On average, I'll probably have a couple of bowls a day. That's about it. Yeah, I know that feeling, Steve. Although being a pipe maker, makes it a little bit easier to disguise. And being a pipe seller, because I buy estate pipes all the time and refurbish them and sell them. So if I end up keeping one for myself, it's kind of, my wife has no way of keeping track of my comings and goings in terms of pipes. Not that I have any problem with it. I mean, I'd be more than happy to. She kind of doesn't have a problem with it. I mean, she has a problem in principle of me smoking, but she's grown to live with that. So I guess the only time she would have a concern is if I was buying pipes for myself when we were having trouble paying the mortgage. That I think would be a fair criticism. But other than that, there's pipes coming and going all the time. I would say that I probably have on average a couple of bowls a day and perhaps a cigar. And that's roughly my consumption. I kind of get into, I wouldn't say a predictable, monotonous cycle, but I am quite habitual. So like I say, I like to start the day with a coffee and a pipe and slowly ease into the workday, that kind of thing. And I tend to finish the day later on with a cigar, and even though sometimes in here I'll smoke a cigar. I started a cigar last night, but I didn't finish it, and so I just brought it down. I don't have a problem relighting a cigar. Some people do. Once they've lit it, they don't go back to it if they don't smoke it. If they don't finish it, they don't relight it. I'm the opposite. I actually find sometimes that I enjoy a cigar more once it's sat overnight and then I relight it. Yeah, Ida, and me too. I mean, sometimes, I'm saying on average, sometimes I could be smoking a pipe almost all day, especially on vacation. If I'm out and about with the family, if we're outdoors, I'll have a pipe on the go all the time almost. So it depends on what I'm doing, but on average, I'm saying on an average day, usually a couple of bowls. Although when I'm sitting in front of the computer processing pictures for the photography that I do, sometimes I might smoke more as well, because I'm just sitting there like a cabbage. So that's kind of an opportunity to smoke a pipe. Alright, let's set this down. Have another swig. Okay, let's move. Let's get to work, folks. Yeah, if you're at a pipe meeting, then obviously you're going to smoke more. That goes without saying. When the blocks come cut like this, it's a bit harder to line up. So just have to be a bit more careful. I'm just thinking whether to put a band on it or not. This is for a customer that's bought a few pipes from me. Although he hasn't requested it. Have I had the band on any of his other pipes? No, I don't think I will, because he wants it to match. He's using the same stems, so I think I'll leave that. You have two pipes. At the moment I've got, my collection is much reduced, so my own personal collection that I actually smoke, it's probably about between 30 to 40 pipes at the moment. I don't want my collection to be that kind of collection where I've got pipes just for the sake of having them and I don't smoke them. I don't see the point of that. It's just not me. The lines are blurred a little bit with me because I'm selling pipes. So, you know, that's kind of, when I buy a pipe, especially if it's an estate pipe, I've kind of got in mind the possibility of reselling it if I don't like it. It's always an option. Ouch. Customers ordered two stems. That's the yellow and the black. I've raised the draft hole just a little bit so as to ensure that there's a decent amount of briar, because this one, when I shape it, I'm going to want it to have a completely natural flow without having a bump at the bottom. A billiard, lavat, you can have a little bit of a bump and it looks okay, but with a devil ants it will spoil the shape. It's got to be, for me anyway, it's got to be a completely smooth run from the shank all the way around to the tip of the bowl. So for that, I'm going to drill the draft hole at the different axes to the shank, just to give me that little bit of room, so that I can still ensure that there's a decent amount of briar under the bowl. James, are you on here? It's alright, I've done it. Don't worry about it.
I don't know if you can see the bird's eye there. The grain there is just mind-blowing. Cross grain.
It's got some wonderful grain, this pipe.
So giving it a bit of a tapered. Obviously, I'm still going to do more shaping on the stem, but shaping wise on the bowl looks really good. Happy with that. Domed top. But the grain should be really good. I might take this down a little bit, that taper. We'll see on the shaping. Right, well that's finished. Hi Josh. It'll probably be stained, but I'll see. On the finish, see what it looks like. I have to see what finish I did on his other pipes because I think he wants it to have a fairly matching kind of look to it. So we'll see when I get to it. Once the shaping's finished. I'm trying to go with my going back old school with one of the older sanding discs because it's got a thinner back. I want to see if I haven't used these for a long time. I want to see if they're any better with the shaping. Gives me more access into thinner spots.
So that's the black one. And that's with the yellow one. The yellow one's slightly longer, which is to match stems that he's got on other pipes of mine. So I think he's got 2 pipes now with yellow and black stems. So this will be number, I'm not sure, I can't remember if it's number 2 or number 3 with those coloured stems. And this is the one that I had to cure, and I had it inside, and it's lost 6 grams in moisture, and it seems to be fine now. It was 54 grams, I think, when I first started drying it out, and it's now 49 grams, so a definite reduction in moisture there. It's got some really nice grain. You can see that grain there. Really nice grain all around the pipe. Yeah, that does happen sometimes. It does sometimes fly off, but it's much worse when you're on the mop. When you're sanding, it's not so bad. But it's fine. No damage. So this is the ring that's going on it. I have to still think about a stem. I was thinking maybe to put maybe a white ring on it, an ivorite ring or a horn ring, but I haven't really decided. I'm not sure if that ring actually works. Really depends on the stem as well. It's kind of got a bit of a 55 shape to it, although it's got a rounded end and it hasn't got a chin sticking out. But you can see that line there is horizontal and it's tapered at the bottom, so that's going to make the stem shape really important. Thanks for that, James. My kids will be very happy about that. Appreciate it. Right, so that can stay over there for the moment. I think Kim must have just sent through that money you were talking about for the kids. Let's look at the grain. Don't know if you can see it. Beautiful, beautiful grain. Oh, there he is. Hey, John. That's how it's looking at the moment.
Just to give you an idea of where the direction of the pipe, the grain. There you can see that. So I'm going to give this an undercoat. Look at that. It's just absolutely stunning. Cross grain. Look at that grain on the top there. It looks beautiful. Bird's eye on the other side. The grain is very distinct on this pipe. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give it an undercoat, and then I'm going to give it brown rather than black undercoat, and then I'm going to give it a barely there stain, so the grain will come through, but the bluntness of it will still be there, you know, to go well with the yellow stem. That's with the black one. Black one is slightly shorter, maybe a better proportion. Yellow one is slightly longer, to match, as I said before, to match stems that the commissioner already has. But I think the yellow, colour-wise, probably works better. Nice thick walls. It's a tapered bowl, so even though it's a slightly diminutive pipe, but there's still plenty briar on there. So I shall continue. Just put it back in there. Cigar not so far. I have brought one down with me that I started yesterday. I think this was one of the ones that you generously gave me, the Hoyo de Monterrey Aneados. Started that last night, but it was getting late and I wasn't feeling so great. After having the jab a couple of days ago, I've been very lethargic. Muscles all aching and legs and arms quite achy. So I didn't want to go to bed too late, even though I was on with James last night later than I should have been. But anyway, so I didn't finish the cigar. Make another with a yellow saddle. If you want to order one, I'll make you one. You want one, Josh? You want one? Okay. Thank you. I will get that done. In actual fact, because I've sort of done this now, I'm kind of, getting into the shape. I'll do it straight away. As soon as I've got this one stained, I'll start it up. Which pipe is it, Idan? Could be the tobacco, depending on what you're smoking. Maybe there's a bit of mold in there. And have you smoked it before without that problem, or is it a recent acquisition? And if you, it always has it, right? When you do your salt treatment afterwards, do you also do a treatment to your stem? Do you thoroughly clean the mortise as well? Because if you do a salt treatment, sometimes people block it up so it doesn't go all the way up the stem. But those are really important. Is it a regular pipe or a 9mm pipe? The reason why I ask is if you can find a stem that will fit, even if it doesn't look nice, but just to try it out, smoke it with a different stem and see if you have the problem or not. At least you can eliminate the fact that it's the stem or not. Nah, Ghost, it's just your imagination. Good morning, how are you?
Speaking of which, Smoking the Ghost just walked in. Well, you could certainly consider taking the cake right down back to briar, maybe even gently sanding the briar inside the bowl, and then start from fresh. Use the honey like I do, just to create that little bit of a barrier and to assist the cake building. It's worth a try. And what I would do is I would take the cake right back to the briar, maybe a little bit of sanding, and then do a salt treatment, then do honey and start again. Are you going to want yours completely blonde, Josh? Or do you want the berry there with an undercoat? I'll have to find a suitable block as well. Something with decent grain. Okay, cool. Makes sense. The advantage of doing some stain, at least an undercoat, is that the grain is highlighted, but when you have a blonde pipe, you smoke it, the colour gets darker and richer. It all gets darker and richer together at the same time, so that although the grain is visible, it doesn't pop. So if you get an undercoat and you get a stain into the grain, at least you're still having a difference. You're showing a contrast between the grain and the rest of the pipe. So I think there is an advantage to having at least an undercoat. Well, it's the dark coat that you put on to make the grain pop. You then take it right back to briar again, and just the grain absorbs, because it's softer than the rest of the briar. It absorbs the darker undercoat. Take that off, so the rest of the pipe is no longer dark. And all you're showing is the grain. Now, why doesn't that surprise me, Ida? Getting both stems to fit precisely is a bit of a challenge, I have to be honest. But we're pretty much there. Right, let's hit 800 and then we can stain. It also depends on the block of briar as well when it comes to the staining, because some briar already has a distinct grain, even though they all have grain, but the grain is already dark. My recent 4-star auto shape pipe, or squash tomato, whatever you want to call it, that one had very distinct grain. Even though I did undercoat that one, and it helped it pop even more, but the grain was already very, very distinct. This one is also quite distinct. But for instance, this one is similar to the 4-star in that it's already, I haven't done anything to it, and you can see that grain very, very clearly. Yeah, proportions are better with the black on, I agree. I'm glad you corrected that, Josh. Even though being somebody that works in a school, even though you're not teaching stuff, I expect you to get that right. I mean, even though you're just computer, but it's what we expect from our educational institutions. I keep forgetting to bring another packet of pipe cleaners out with me. Not sure if I've got any more here somewhere. It's what's in your heart that matters. Nothing else matters. Literally, nothing else matters. Just got to be a good, decent person. Oh, look at that. Yes, I need to buy some more gloves. Running low on supplies here, I must be honest. This light is also getting a bit past it. Yeah, I agree. A lot of that kind of stuff goes on nowadays. Apostrophes being just ignored. And, you just have to get used to it, I guess. So another thing I've noticed with a lot of American commentators as well is that they're kind of almost like an Americanized Cockney type of speak. Here in England, in London, if you speak Cockney, it's like you speak like that. Just you don't miss out half the syllables. You just talk a bit like that. You know what I mean? A bit like the Barrow Boys. That's Cockney sort of way of speaking. People who come from the East End. But I've noticed that American commentators are also doing something when it comes to double T's. They're just missing out the double T's. I listen to, let's say, somebody like Candace. If she says button, she doesn't say button. She says button. It's like a instead of a t. And that kind of makes me cringe a little bit. I don't know where that's come from, but it's become very common in America. to miss out the t, the double T, and just do instead. Any of you guys noticed that? It's not to say that I'm a supporter of Candace, I'm just giving you an example. Button, and not button, yes. Button. There's no T, it's a grunt. It's not even button instead of button, it's button. Button, button. You just miss out the T, it's just like a soft sort of stress rather than a T sound. Right. Yeah, I mean, it's essentially, I don't want to say a laziness. It's just, language has evolved. There's no question about that. But it's just easier than pronouncing the full word, I guess. I mean, that happens all over here. In as I say, the Cockney accent is exactly that. But instead of just being one or two, it's the whole language is treated that way. Yeah. Okay, I think this is the final layer of stain. Once it gets to a point where it's pretty much opaque, almost like a dress pipe, then that's usually where I stop. And this is just an undercoat. Usually I would do this for a top coat as well when I'm doing a brown stain.
Someone is at the front door.
Ooh. I'm expecting some deliveries. Not sure if my wife is in or not. Hello?
Okay. Whoa. So I've got some supplies. Ow! Some compound, which I've been needing to re-up on. Whoa, this has been on all the time, idiot. Some new mops. And James, it arrived. Exciting. What timing. Oh. Okay. Where was I? Anybody heard from Chad recently? I haven't seen any videos or seen him on any lives recently. Was he on yours last night, James? Or on Mike's on Sunday? Alright, so that's gonna go there. Okay. Alright, I've just dropped him an email. Hopefully he'll see that. Just do it straight away because I'll forget otherwise. Right, James's package. Another package from James. We keep saying this, not necessary. It really isn't. But another packet from James. Woo! I see cigar box. Oh yeah. I used to smoke these by the dozen. James, you hit the mark on the head. The Myanmar was my at one stage that was my go-to cigar. It was way before I got to know you. Myanmar Reserve I've never had.
So you've got these two here are Myanmar's. That's a Myanmar Reserve, and the other two I've never had. I don't know what they are. That's a Edition Especial, and that one. Oh man, James, you really knocked it out of the park. This one here, the Myanmar, that cigar I lived on for a while, going back about 5 years. And this is the same one, just a longer vitola. Awesome. I haven't had one of these in years, literally. Aroma de Cuba. Oh, I'm looking forward to trying these again. Awesome, James. I wonder if I'll still like them. Three pallets, Gordon Bennett. What are you building, man? Awesome, James. That's on the spot. Literally on the money. Nice. What else have we got here? Oh, you're a sweetie pie. You are a sweetie pie. Virginia Woods for some London fog. And some of that is going to head right back to you, James. I was limited what I could send you last time, but what have we here? Oh, that's not a pipe, James. That cannot be. What on earth? It's got my name on it. Simon. Oh, wow. Oh my. That is gorgeous. Look at this, guys. It's a travel cigar humidor. That is awesome. Wow. See the line? Man, you're too good to me, you know that. Too good to me. It comes with a cigar cutter. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That is awesome. James. James. What can I say? Gotta give you one of these, James. Mwah. I'm going to put it away because it's going to get dirty. Wow. James, again, you knocked it out of the park. I'm going to take that as a Hanukkah present. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Each one of the items, ball out of the park. Okay. Whew, you knocked the wind out of me now. I should have gone and replaced my coffee. That's finished when I was in there, and now I need to just chill and take in what James has sent me. That was exciting. In the black box, you missed it. Cigars. Myanmar, Aroma de Cuba. Very nice cigars these are. I bought these when I smoked these. I got these from Boswell's, and I think I usually bought 5 packs. I think they sold them in 5 packs, and just great cigars. I hope I still have that same. It's been a long time, so I don't know if my palate's changed or not. I hope I still enjoy them. I'm sure I will. Right, I'm going to find a block for Josh, and then I'm going to go make a coffee. So I'll take you with me. Come. Mina Freunde, come. Komm bitte. Let me see if I can put you on a perch. And you can see my braai when I select some braai. So basically this block doesn't have to be long, but it needs to have a bit of width so that I can do that round, sort of almost bulbous ball shape. And I want to get one which has got suitable grain. I think that cross grain works better on that shape, so I'm going to look for that. That might fit the bill. This one, I think, this feels nice and light. Alright, so I'm going to sand these 3 blocks, see what they look like. This one, Simon. Went through 4 or 5 blocks here to find the one that I want to use. So you have to have plenty of blocks so that you can choose the right one for the project that you're trying to do. I mean, they will have some grain, but none of them quite what I want. Whereas this one should be fantastic as long as it holds up. It's got a few pock marks on the outside, which I hope don't go all the way through. But there's only one way to find out. Actually, I think I'll shape it while it's wet. No, that's not good. Did anybody know if Josh has come back? Are you back, Josh? Oh, there he is. Josh, you wanted a saddle yellow, yeah? All right, Ghost. Thanks very much for joining. Appreciate it very much. Claudio, ciao. Nope, as in you're not back yet. Yep, as in a saddle yellow. Got you. You're just a figment of our imagination. Just give that a little bit more curve. Alright, so that's your bowl. Let's cut the shape out. We've got a little bit of a thing there. We'll see once we cut into it how that looks. In actual fact, rather than waste time, I'm going to dig it out. Ooh, I don't like the look of that. No. It'll be okay for rustication. Hopefully it doesn't go right through, but there isn't enough width, I don't think, for me to sand a great deal past that. Let me see. I don't know if there's any correlation between the more grainy a pipe is, the more susceptible it is to rot. I don't know. Maybe just my imagination. Sod you! You didn't hear that, did you? Yeah, it goes right through. Good job I didn't waste my time over it. I can hopefully still do something with the pipe. I just have to avoid this hole here. Alright, let's find another block. I can go for plateau blocks. I've got plenty of plateau blocks, so you're going to have more of a, not straight grain necessarily, but sort of flame grain, straight grain. I can't guarantee what the grain is going to be like, but do you want to have cross grain specifically? I have a few more, and I have these ones here, but they're not as good as I would like in terms of grain. So what grain do you prefer? And I'll carry on looking if you prefer cross grain, but if you prefer straight, I might as well go for a plateau block. So what's your preference? How do you plead? Grain, straight grain, or cross grain? No grain specifics. Ooh. Yeah, but I want it to have a nice grain. Not bad. Can work with that. Morning, Patrick. How the devil are you? Speaking of which. Smooth top or plateau, Josh? I should imagine smooth works better on an Anse. Smooth. Maybe I'll make the shank a little bit shorter because the stem is going to be a little bit longer. Ooh, that's a bit too close. That's better. Right, gentlemen, I need to go and have something to eat. So it's a question of just letting you hang or turning this off and restarting later. I think I'm going to just stop it here, pause it, so that I'm not feeling the pressure. I want to be able to just relax for a little bit, have some lunch, have a drink, and we'll catch you guys a little bit later on. I hope that's okay with you guys. All the best. Catch you on the next one.